Good morning and welcome to the latest edition of NJ Advanced Media's live video politics chat. I am Brent Johnson and I'm here with State Senator Jim Whelan. We are talking today about the struggles of Atlantic City and how 4 of the city's 12 casinos have closed in recent months and thousands of jobs have been lost. Governor Christie and other state officials have been trying to find ways to solve this problem. Senator Whelan was the mayor of Atlantic City and now serves in the state legislature representing that area. Senator Whelan, thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I guess the one question everybody wants to know is what's happened to Atlantic City? Why are there problems?
Well, it's competition. Actually, we're a victim of our own success. What has happened is that our surrounding states, Pennsylvania, New York, previously Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, all saw the success that Atlantic City was having in terms of jobs, in terms of tax revenue, and said we went in. That's our market. So as they came online, we saw our market share diminish. So it's good news, bad news. I mean, it's nice to be imitated, but it's bad news for us, and certainly bad news for the people who are out of work. And we need to do some things to redefine ourselves. We've done it in the past. We got to do it again.
Is this a lost cause, or are there things that can't be done?
No, absolutely not a lost cause. First off, we have the ocean, we have the beach, we have the boardwalk, and when you look at Atlantic City from a development point of view, there's a lot of infrastructure that's in place. We managed to get the convention center built back in the 90s. We refurbished boardwalk hall, which was the original. The other amenities that Atlantic City needs, certainly we need to do more, but there's shopping, dining, entertainment, and so on. We need to put more emphasis on those things, conventions, trade shows, and I think we're going to be okay. In the meantime, we also need to diversify our economy. The big news there right now is that Stockton, our nearest state college, will be opening, taking one of the closed casinos, Showboat, repurposing that to a city campus. It will be half a city campus, half is still a hotel, so we'll have the benefit of both. So if you want to be a hotel major, not a bad place to be on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, right next to a place where you can do your internships and get job opportunities and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things in the works that we think are going to bode well for Atlantic City's future.
Well, one of the things people talk a lot about, especially State Senator Ray Lesniak, is that sports betting is one thing that will help. In fact, NJ.com user Jersey0704 asked, really can help. Is that a viable solution?
I think it would help, but I think you have to be careful whether it's sports betting or anything else. Number one, there is no single silver bullet. There's no magic wand. Whether it's sports betting or internet or anything, we've done internet. It's helped a little. Sports betting would help a little. One of the reasons why sports betting, I think, can help but not be the be-all and the end-all is that, let's face it, under the New Jersey law, the sports betting comes online. You're not only going to have it in Atlantic City, you're going to have it at the racetrack. So folks up in the northern part of the state on a Sunday afternoon, if they want to go bet the Jets or the Giants and lose their money, they're going to go to the Meadowlands. And the other thing is, other states will have it. I mean, Pennsylvania and New York are not going to sit back and say, let New Jersey have sports betting, and we're not going to do it. Having said that, can it help? Absolutely. Certainly help from a marketing perspective when you have major events like the Super Bowl or March Madness and so on. Promote those events, get celebrity athletes in and so on. That makes a lot of sense.
What do you make of the idea of a North Jersey casino with revenue going to Atlantic City?
Well, it's something that the governor has put on the table, Senate President has put on the table. At this point, I'm opposed to it, but to be part of that conversation, because if in fact it is going to happen, and I suspect at some point it will, we've got to look at making sure that Atlantic City's interests are in fact protected and that a significant portion of the revenues do come in to finish the job of revitalizing.
Collaborate to build a bus and train terminal at
Atlantic City.
User 1971 asks.
Actually, that's a good question, and the rail line runs right by the Atlantic City Airport property, so the potential to do that is there. You get into the chicken and the egg. The market right Now, the airport's in great shape, by the way, physically.
Mhm.
It's much larger than Newark or Kennedy or LaGuardia in terms of physical space. But the market is not yet there. So you build a station, it's not going to have much action. You have to drive the market, do that through conventions, trade shows. Once you get that market up and running, then I think you can talk about a terminal that would be able to get people off a plane, onto a train, right into Center City, Atlantic City.
Twitter user Jeff Jotes wants to know, is there a chance of AC actually getting the International Swimming Hall of Fame, which is something
Yes,
that we
there
talked
is.
about?
There is. I'm involved in that. I'm actually a member of this International Swimming Hall of Fame, a gold medallion recipient a few years ago, which is a big honor for me, having been a competitive swimmer, coach, and so on. And they're looking for a new home, moving from Fort Lauderdale. And the interest in Atlantic City is in part because the Hall of Fame wants to. Right now, the Hall of Fame is about competitive swimming, which is great for guys like me. But the general population, once every 4 years, they care about swimming, and they forget about it. What the Hall of Fame wants to do is focus a little more on swimming generally. You know, there's 2 million competitive swimmers in the country. There's 35 million people who swim recreationally, for therapy. They take their kids, whatever. Let's look at that market. And that began in Atlantic City back in the 1800s, recreational type swimming. So those elements would dovetail nicely. There are conversations, very preliminary, with Stockton, making the Hall of Fame possibly a part of what would evolve out of Showboat. We think it's a good fit for Atlantic City and a good fit for the Hall of Fame.
To close out, what is next in this process? Where do we go from here with Atlantic City?
Well, the good news in Atlantic City right now is that the Governor's Summit has put together really both the political leadership. You have the governor himself has attended, the Senate President, the Speaker, the minority leader of both chambers, leaders in the local community, both casino leaders as well as the political leadership locally. So we really do have the attention on it. And now it's a question of bringing together those things that are priorities. Stockton clearly is one. There are some other development projects that possibility of the hospital expanding. That would be a great, eds and meds have been a great driver of urban development throughout the Northeast, throughout the country. So we'd have both of those going. And then redouble our efforts with the special events, the conventions, and the trade shows. We know what we need to do. Now it's a question of going out and doing it. And I think we have the consensus, which you don't always have, on what has to come next. And with that, I'm optimistic. It's going to be a little bit of pain for a couple of years, especially for those who've been laid off. But in the long term, we're going to be fine.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for Senator Whelan for being here. And please join us next week when we will have another topic to speak about. Until then, I'm Brent Johnson for NJ Advanced Media. Have a lovely afternoon.